Welcome to the Pick Connection TV show. I'm John Evans, your host. Today I'll be visiting with Tristan Green, Family Resource Specialist for the Head Start Early Head Start program of Fayette County, who will tell you about fatherhood and about becoming the proud father of a new baby. And then next up is Judy Seberg. Yes, our own Judy Seberg, talking about Healthy PIC. And last, I'll be talking to Christy Fusco, Director of the Uniontown Public Library, and she will tell you all about the many different services available at the library has to offer to the community. Please stay with us. This is going to be a great show. Coming up next is Tristan Green, Family Resource Specialist for Head Start Early Head Start of Fayette County. He will be talking about fatherhood. With me now is Tristan Green, and Tristan, thank you so much for coming on the show today.
Oh, you're very welcome. I'm excited to be here.
Great. Tristan is a new dad for the second time, right?
That's correct. It was in May, and it feels like even though you've been through it once before, it's like going through it all over again.
Well, this time you'll get it right, huh?
Exactly.
Tristan is with our Early Head Start program here in Fayette County, and I guess that's what you kind of want to talk about, Tristan, how you were a dad and how Early Head Start helped your family.
That's correct. My son was at the Head Start 857 site, and he had a great time going to school there. I can say that, I was always interested in early learning, but this opportunity to give him to socialize and to explore and be around other children was very important in his education.
How did your son benefit from getting into that once again?
Well, I think that
as a new parent, that probably helped you too.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah,
definitely.
You're thinking, well, I need some help here, and who do I go to? And
well, when it comes to being a parent, I mean, you have all these rules, and eventually, you throw the rule book out the door. I mean, you go your day-to-day life, and you try to keep a schedule, you try to have routines, but it's very, very hard. I mean, you have your job, you have other responsibilities, and as much as you want to keep, to a schedule, it's almost impossible to do.
Yeah.
And those routines are so important to have the children. It's so important to keep them on a regular schedule so that they can. That's part of their development.
Now, what did you see when your son was in Early Head Start? How he developed? What did you like about it? Because I guess we're going to get to where you were not with Head Start when your son was in the program, correct? But then now you are with Early Head Start.
That's correct. So there's a two-part answer to that. So one of the big things was my son would not sit at the table for mealtime, or he'd take a bite and then run off and run around. And I mean, one of the great things that Head Start does for its snacks and for its meals and all that offered free of charge is that they do like a family dining situation where they serve themselves, they teach them about table manners and about, taking turns and how meals and experience. I mean, we all want to have that family dinner. I hope all of us, at least every so often, has that, that family dinner where they sit down, talk about their day, and really, share some time with each other, rather than just sitting, in front of the TV with a TV dinner, just, shoveling food in.
Yeah. So it helps them socialize there.
Right.
Okay.
And even like just understand some more expectations as the children grow. They have more social expectations. I mean, it's hard to get a child to sit still for a while, but I think with if you kind of give them a framework or even like a reason, I think that their attention span can grow, and that's one of the other things as well.
Now, for our watchers out there, or viewers, Early Head Start, what age is Early Head Start?
Well, Early Head Start starts with the children. It starts from birth and goes all the way to 3 until they are old enough to get to the classroom. But even the pregnant mothers, we visit them as well. So even before birth, because early learning starts before birth as well.
And how important is it, Tristan, for to talk to the baby, even though the baby's not born?
Oh, it's vitally important. Even starting from when their ears start to develop inside the womb, that's when they're starting to take language in like a sponge. So that's why you want to fill them up with good things. I mean, with books or music, you sing songs, and that's something that can carry from before they're born to when they're a baby, and so on and so forth. And that's part of where those routines come in. I mean, you can have your bedtime routines where you read a little story, you sing them a song, and even throughout the day. I mean, throughout the day, you can do what's called personal talk, where you go over. It's almost like you're a teleprompter for yourself. And I know it seems really silly, but you can say, well, here I am getting ready to make dinner, and I'm getting the pan from the cupboard. And the point is that the child is taking all that language in, and that's called receptive language, and that's so important to their development. I mean, their language explodes from the time that they're a baby to before they're talking. And even if they don't talk back, they're looking at you, and they're really, they hear your tone and they feel that, and that's so important to start the communication. Like when they start babbling and making noises, they have you can do a back and forth. They can say blah 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 blah, and you can go beep 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 beep, and they go back and forth.
That sounds like our producer, Harry Metz.
There you go. And they get the idea of that conversation's a give and take.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that's why we're sitting here. Our setting is here in the Uniontown Public Library. You mentioned books. I know many parents read to their unborn child, nightly. So,
right.
and I know if you come to the library, you can find books, I'm sure, on parenting.
Oh, yes,
get
absolutely.
Prepared. Yeah, so.
And what's with the early Head Start program, not only do you have a staff like myself, family resource specialists come in who has been trained and who has taken many classes throughout their career to learn about childhood development. You also have nurses that work with Head Start and other professionals who can come in when they have questions. I mean, there are things that come up with my new child, Tristan, that I would have never thought of for my first son.
Yeah, it's like having a team of your own, right?
Right.
Head Start, early Head Start. That helps assist you in raising your child.
That's exactly right. We can assist, like if they need help getting to appointments, we have vehicles where we can help with that. We can also assist to point them to resources such as at PIC, where they can learn how to, at the new building in Lemont Furnace, where they can go to Career Link if they're they want to get a new job, or if they're having trouble there. We're like we're definitely a referral agency where whatever their needs may be, even if we can't personally take care of it, we know who in the community can do that for them.
Yeah, you can get them to the right source.
That's correct.
Yeah, yeah. And
getting back to the question about how I went from Head Start parent to working for Head Start, I was involved in the parent meetings, which happen every month, and the parent committee, advisory committee.
Uh-huh.
And so I went to a meeting that's just for the site, and then all the Head Start parents also meet every month. And what was so important about that is, I mean, we always listen to the parents, even through just our visits and in the classroom, but that was a special time that they can really make their voice heard. I mean, what people may not know is that even though we have a lot of professionals and a lot of people in the community that collaborate, Head Start is in part a parent-run organization.
You're absolutely right. Yes.
And what the parents do, I mean, they really can put their input as far as what activities they want to see their children getting involved in, and really get to know, put their voice heard in what needs need to be met, or what they're seeing is working and what's not working, because different kids learn at different rates, and
And to that point, where it's the Head Start, early Head Start is run by parents, the Private Industry Council has named, we have different rooms out there at our new facility. We have them named after parent leaders from Head Start, because that's how important we feel that the parents are. So if you go out there, you'll see rooms named after people who are on that advisory committee, and once it's to honor them and their commitment to the community and to the families. And once again, as you said, it's parent driven.
that's
good.
something new that I've learned. That's really interesting.
Yeah.
And through these meetings, to make a long story short, I was really impressed on how the organization was run and how involved it was in families, and just a lot of people think and it is absolutely, there's a focus on children, but it's about raising the whole family up.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we're there for. I mean, we want to even, you know, we with adult education and things like that, we want to make sure that the parents are also learning as well and involved in their child's learning, because they are the parents. The parents are the children's first teachers. And we're there not to take over for them, but we're there to assist them. We're there to model some new skills, and you know, kind of give them a little extra input, because a lot of families do a great job. They are reading their children. You know, many families they may not even know it, are teaching their children things and important things, but we maybe there's something they're not, you know, an area that they're not looking at, or maybe even, like I said, each child's different. Maybe there's a different strategy, because we're all different kinds of learners.
Yeah. Well, you know, you reference different organizations helping parents to raise their children or get advice on how to do things. And I guess that quote that's been said over years at the end, if you want to say that, sort of like what Early Head Start's all about.
Right. Well, that quote is, and it's been paraphrased and said many different ways, and it's probably as old as time. It takes a village to raise a child, and I mean, parents, of course, love their children and are the most important people in their lives, but they need their family to help them, their friends.
Yeah. They
need other professionals, because again, you can't always think of everything yourself. It's that collaboration which works so well. I mean, I know this is going to sound kind of funny, but maybe this image will stick with people and they'll kind of understand. I think that the Early Head Start and Head Start teachers are a little bit like the parents' cheerleaders, so to speak. We're there really to encourage them and say, you know, you're doing a great job, and these are some other things, you know, we can work on together.
Yeah. And I think every parent would look back and say, boy, I wish I had support here or some advice.
Oh, right.
Maybe I could have done a better job. So that's what Early Head Start's there for.
Right, exactly.
Yep. And Tristan, our producer, Harry Metz, has held up a little sign that said that you can't take that dog here with you. So sorry about that.
I'll have to see if I can find him.
So how about a phone number in case somebody was interested in maybe talk with you or anybody at the Head Start or Early Head Start?
Oh, sure. I mean, for enrollment, we can also do that on the computer, so I'll give both. The main number for Head Start is 724-430-4818. And as well as the Private Industry Council's website, and that's
www.privateindustrycouncil.com.
And they can also find an application on there. Yeah.
And another number we can throw out is 724-437-2590.
Okay.
So there's two numbers, you know. Try one of them, and you'll reach somebody.
Exactly.
We'll get you help somewhere.
Exactly.
Tristan Green, thank you so much, Family Resource Specialist
for
Early Head Start. I enjoy you. It seems like you're becoming the official spokesman for Early Head Start. You've been on a radio program, too.
Oh, yes. It's always a pleasure, and this is definitely something I believe in. And early education is just so important. That's the foundation for critical thinking and reading for children. And if, you know, the children, and I know that going to sound really cheesy, the children are our future, though.
Yeah.
And if we want to give them a world and give them hope, big part of that is education.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We'll be right back. Recently, the Private Industry Council of Westmoreland Fayette was awarded a Fatherhood grant, and I would just like to welcome Michelle Ferguson, who is the Fatherhood Initiative Program Supervisor, to the Fatherhood Program. Coming up next is Christy Fusco, Director of the Uniontown Public Library, and Christy will be telling you about the many different services that the Public Library has to offer. With me now is Christy Fusco, and Christy is the Director of the Uniontown Public Library. And Christy, thank you so much for coming on the show today.
Well, thank you for having me. I'm the director of your library, so I'm always excited to talk about the library, and particularly today we're going to talk about the Dolly Parton Imagination Library and the library's historical relationship with the that nonprofit in our community. I always am very moved about the Dolly Parton Imagination Library. About 10 years ago, Chris Decker, the founder of Laurel Business Institute.
Great guy.
Yeah, really wonderful guy, and approached the library, approached me and said, hey, Christy, do you know about Dolly Parton's Imagination Library? And I said, no, Chris, what is it? And apparently Dolly had been very moved by her experience reading and her mother's ability to make their family happy regardless of their extreme poverty. So when she had means herself, she started a foundation, the Dolly Parton Imagination Library, and brought books into the homes of children in her home county from birth to age 5, because every month they arrived in the mail, and Dolly did this on her own, through her own philanthropy, and it was such a successful program, and she was so committed to education and lifelong learning and opportunity and imagination that she opened this foundation to other communities. So her foundation does all the administration. They pick the books, they do all the interaction with the mail, and they allow communities like ours to join the program, and we become affiliate members. So Chris said, what do you think? And I said, well, Chris, I think let's take it to the board. The board thought it was a fabulous idea because, as you know, we partner with many of the educational organizations in our community who are committed to lifelong learning, Private Industry Council, the schools, the chamber, the universities. And so we said, Chris, we'll administer it. You help us. We can't really fundraise for it because we're a nonprofit who is struggling to meet the needs of our community ourselves. And so Chris said, we can do this. And so for 10 years we have been doing it. And corporations, individuals, grants have been supporting Dolly Parton in our community for many years. At this very moment, 12 months back, we've graduated 900 kids. So that meant 900 kids were getting books potentially from birth to 5 every month in the mail. And we have 800 children, 840 children enrolled who are getting those. And so we think that's a great start. And
it's wonderful. I remember that coming out. Our president, Tim Yorkison of the Private Industry Council, was a very big supporter, still is.
Yes.
He was right in there and really pushed it. And, with you and Chris Decker, so happy to see that come to fruition, and what a great program this is.
It is, and with Private Industry Council, Tim is on the Dolly Parton Imagination Library board. We have 2 members from the library. Larry Bush is our president, and he's on the Dolly Parton Imagination Library board, and Nancy is still very active. There's many people on that board, and that's where we
enthusiastic too.
Very enthusiastic.
Yeah, where do you find all these people like that?
They're great.
Yeah,
Nancy spearheads it, and they have an annual golf outing because it is a community-supported program, and it just starts children off on the right foot so that they are enthusiastic about lifelong learning. And part of our relationship with Dolly Parton is to help parents enhance that experience. They get this book in the mail every month for their children, and they can come and be part of story time and learn how to use those moments to create educational opportunities at home. Like what color is it, or how hot is it, or what's happening in the book, or who are the characters, and what do you think is going to happen next, or what could we do at home like this? And so they could come to the library and enhance that experience. And for young parents, they can explore our parenting library. And Miss Diane, our children's librarian, has lots of interactive educational opportunities for the parents and children to engage in the library. Puzzles, games. We always have sort of a word game or a craft. We also, through the auspices of the Gismondi family, are lucky enough to have a children's computer lab.
And a library this size with your computers and all the resources, it takes a lot to keep something like this going. So you need a lot of support from the community as well. Now,
we've had it. We have.
Yeah, and you have. But if somebody watching this show here they say, well, how can I support the library? What are ways that people can support the library?
Well, certainly with your charitable donations, because certainly, you know, the community has historically supported the library in a fabulous manner with donations. The city of Uniontown supports the library really well, the state. So just thinking of us when you are thinking about, oh, there's somebody I want to support, please contact us at the library at 724-437-1165 and ask for Christy or Diane, and we'll get you hooked up, and we'll deliver story time to the folks in our community.
And how about the website too, Christy? Is there a website they could go on? Or?
Yes, our website is uniontownlib.org. So it's uniontownlib.org.
Okay. And should mention too that if you do make a donation, that's tax deductible.
It is tax deductible, and we'll put it toward programs and materials. You can tell us what you'd like us to use it for.
Great.
Yeah.
So this is a wonderful library, a great asset to the community. So looking for your support. So please come out and support this library. You think Dolly Parton would ever come out for a visit? Did she ever do that?
That would be great. We haven't asked her. We need to ask her.
Yeah. Well, maybe we can send a tape to her.
That would be fabulous.
She might get say, hey, I got to come to Uniontown.
That's right.
Tremendous.
That would be really great. Like, Dolly, come and visit us.
Christy Fusco, Director of Uniontown Public Library, thank you so much for coming on the
much.
show today.
Thank you.
And we'll be right back. All right, up next, and you ready to get healthy? Well, stay with us. Judy Siebert will be talking about the Healthy PIC.
Hello, my name is Judy Siebert, and I'm a registered dietitian. I'm also a consultant dietitian here with Private Industry Council. Today we have a special guest on our program, and her name is Paige Leonard. Paige, would you like to introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about yourself?
Hello, my name is Paige. I'm a nutritionist here at Head Start of Fayette County, and I've graduated from Westmoreland County Community College in dietetics and California University of PA in wellness and fitness.
Well, today we're going to talk about nutrition and pregnancy, and I think you must know a little something about that.
I do know, just a little bit.
Well, first of all, it's really important to eat healthy before you become pregnant, isn't it,
Yes,
Paige?
it is.
Tell me a little bit about that.
Well, just developing a healthy lifestyle actually makes the transition easier into eating healthy during pregnancy. Plus, conceiving and having, you never know when you might conceive and have a child, so you always want to be prepared, and by doing that, eating healthy is definitely a good start.
Yeah, I think one of the most important nutrients before you conceive is folate, and folate comes from anything green, or foliage, you could think of that term. So you want to have a healthy diet, maybe even take prenatal vitamins before you become pregnant.
Yes, that's a very good idea.
Do you take your prenatal vitamins now?
I do. I take them every night, and that has been the easiest for me because I know some people get sick or nauseous from taking them and have a hard time, but I don't feel anything when I take them before bed, and I sleep very perfectly.
Yeah, that's a good idea, take them at night and sleep through any problems. But you did mention nausea. A lot of women have, particularly the first trimester, some people have it the whole time, morning sickness.
Yes.
Did you ever experience that?
A little bit. I've had nausea, and luckily that's kind of my only major concern during pregnancy was just in the morning.
Yeah.
And once I got out of bed slowly and ate a couple crackers, just something light, then my nausea went away.
That's a good tip. We like the dry soda crackers or some carbohydrates, even dry cereal, before you even get out of bed. You can sit on the side of the bed. The longer you go without eating, sometimes the nausea gets worse. So you have to eat to make it go away.
Exactly. And if you eat too fast too, you'll end up
it's not pretty.
not good.
Alrighty, well, there are some other nutrition concerns with pregnancy. Are there foods we probably shouldn't eat when we're pregnant?
There are foods, definitely anything raw and uncooked,
Yeah.
like raw eggs or raw meat.
Yeah, or even hamburger. People sometimes like it pink inside. Not good an idea.
Yeah, make sure everything's well done.
Yeah. How about sushi?
Sushi, definitely not. Sushi is not cooked. It's a raw seafood.
I wouldn't risk it. Even though I love it, I wouldn't risk it while I'm pregnant. How about other types of fish? Is it okay?
There are. I mean, there are fish, the larger fish like shark and mackerel are higher in mercury, so you want to try to avoid high mercury fish. But all the other fish are perfectly fine in moderation, and you actually want 8 to 12 servings a week of fish.
Wow. Yeah, I always want to avoid shark when I can. especially when swimming.
Yes.
All right, so the meat, we've covered that. How about the cheese? Is there cheese we need to avoid?
There are soft cheeses you want to avoid. Those would be like brie and feta cheese, which most people probably don't consume a lot, but if you do want to be aware of that.
Yeah, I'm really concerned about some lunch meats. I've heard there's problems with listeriosis in lunch meat, and that can have a very detrimental effect.
Yeah, and a lot of people might not be aware of that either. They might think that is safe, but that definitely cause bacterial diseases if they're not reheated properly.
Yeah, so even sometimes bologna, we want to cook it, warm it up, or hot dogs, never eat them raw when you're expecting.
Yes, I just wouldn't take the chance at all.
I agree with you. So how much food should we eat?
Well, the first trimester, usually you're not feeling too well, so it might be common not to want to eat too much, and you might even lose weight. Yeah. But as the second trimester and third trimester go along, you want to increase even just by a couple hundred calories each trimester.
That's really important. People think, oh, I'm eating for two,
yes.
So they double their calories.
Yes, you're actually not doubling your calories. You are feeding another human, but the human is very small and tiny. Yeah. So you don't need the amount of calories you eat. Yes.
Wow, that was all excellent advice. In summary, I would say eat a varied diet, a healthy diet prior to conception, throughout breastfeeding, and you have a little bit of wiggle room, relax, and enjoy it.
Yes, and don't forget, everything you eat, your baby eats too.
Thank you, Paige.
Thank you, Judy.
Well, that was a wonderful show. A special thanks to Paige Leonard for joining us. My name's Judy Siebert, and I'll see you next time.
Thank you for watching today's show. I hope you enjoyed my visit with Tristan Green, who talked about fatherhood. Yes, our own Judy Siebert talking about Healthy PIC. And lastly, I hope you enjoyed my visit with Christy Fusco, Director of the Uniontown Public Library, who talked about the many services available to the community. Thanks again for watching today's show. And remember, and please remember this, I'll see you next month on the PIC Connection.